Good morning from Washington. It's a busy Friday, May 11th, 2012. This is the Daily Rundown. I'm Chuck Todd. Let's get right to my first reads of the morning. So what's fair game in presidential politics? Mitt Romney is learning every aspect of your life is open to inspection, even high school, as he spent a day apologizing for something he didn't quite own up to. The cause, a Washington Post story on his high school years. At the prestigious Cranbrook School outside of Detroit, it quotes some of Romney's classmates, describing his penchants for pranks, including a 1965 incident when Romney was a senior, where he and a group of friends allegedly accosted a boy with bleached blonde hair draped over one eye, and according to the Post, tackled him and pinned him to the ground as the boy, John Lauber, his eyes filling with tears, screamed for help. Romney repeatedly, the allegation said, clipped his hair with a pair of scissors. Now, when reporters called Romney's former classmates for confirmation, one of them, Philip Maxwell, appeared to be very willing to talk to reporters, confirming the story to NBC News, saying the boys grew into a distinguished group of men and that now we look back at it and it's a black mark on our own character. Now, the Post reports that Lauber died in 2004. According to his family this morning, Lauber's family is disputing the Post story in this statement, quote, "The portrayal of John is factually incorrect and we are aggrieved that John would be used to further a political agenda." But the Romney campaign made the decision to immediately go into damage control mode yesterday morning and tried to make this as close to a one-day story as they can. Yesterday on this show, Romney senior advisor Ed Gillespie had this to say about the story. Is the incident troubling to you?
Well, Governor Romney doesn't remember that incident at all. It's understandable. It was high school. Right. It was in high school.
But by midday, the campaign was putting Romney himself out to respond, deciding to inflate the news bubble, hoping it would pop. First, they did it on Fox News Radio.
I had no idea that this person might have been gay. And as the article points out, I participated in a lot of hijinks and pranks during high school. And some may have gone too far. And for that, I apologize.
And then he stuck with the Fox network, this time going on television to deal with it.
I don't recall the incident myself, but I've seen the reports and not going to argue with that. There's no question but that I did some stupid things when I was in high school.
Stu Rothenberg, editor of the Rothenberg Political Report, reminds us it's nothing new for candidates to be confronted with youthful indiscretions.
Whether it's Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, or Barack Obama, most politicians have done things in the past that they now regret. That said, I think Mitt Romney didn't handle it particularly well. He needed to treat it more seriously.
And that's sort of what was missing there, was the empathy in the apology, but we'll get to that a little bit more in a minute. Now, during the 2008 campaign, then candidate Obama faced some criticism for his admission of drug use, but of course, it was he that admitted it himself in his book, Dreams from My Father.
I kept playing basketball, attended classes sparingly, drank beer heavily, and tried drugs enthusiastically.
And during the time in the 2007 campaign when it came up, here's how Obama answered those questions about his past.
The American people are pretty clear about who I am. I wrote a book about it. That's the only reason that these issues are coming up. It has to do with when I was a teenager, and I think they recognize that, 30 years later, as a father of two and a husband and a United States Senator, that I'm prepared to lead the country.
You know, it's interesting. You talk to strategists on both sides, and they always say high school is off limits. Of course, these stories seem to be creeping up more and more with candidates all the time. I've noticed in a lot of secondary statewide campaigns. Now, there's more to this story, though. The Cranbrook story happened almost 50 years ago. The details are in dispute. But here's what's important. It's a reminder of how much Romney, who's been running for president for 5 years, is still a two-dimensional figure in the minds of a lot of voters. The 3 months between now and the conventions are the campaign to fill in the blanks. And right now, other people are filling in the blanks a lot faster than Romney is. Romney tries to fill out his biography by putting out his wife and out there to talk about him, as she'll do again today on Fox.
For Mitt, that's where he gave me the greatest strength, because he was the one reminding me that it wasn't what I did or why he loved me, it was who I was.
Look, everybody knows Romney's name, but the question is, do people know him? And presidential politics and campaigns and elections, the vote is personal. And when it comes to Romney, it's been because there are three basic narratives, and in two of them, he won't talk about them. He rarely talks about his time as Massachusetts governor. That was clearly done for political reasons. And while faith might be the most important thing in his life, he appears to be afraid to talk about it much publicly for fear of talking about the issue of Mormonism. It's a calculation that many members of religious minorities have made in past campaigns, but it appears to have made Romney overly cautious. And the only thing Romney seems really comfortable talking about is his business record. And that's not a warm thing to be talking about. It means he has difficulty connecting, and it can be more easily characterized as a two-dimensional son of privilege. And he doesn't help himself much in awkward moments like this one when Fox's Neil Cavuto asked him how he can match President Obama's cool factor.
I don't think I'll play the president a round of golf, but I'll be happy to take him through a water ski course. I mean, we have different skills and different interests and different hobbies. People are going to get to know me better. And, Ann says there's a wild and crazy guy locked up inside of me.
By the way, a reminder of where this alleged bullying happened, an elite prep school. And if that's the only image that sticks off of this story, that's not good for the portrait that's being painted right now of Mitt Romney. They still have work to do when it comes to Mitt Romney's biography. Finally, the president wraps up what was supposed to be his campaign kickoff week today, and instead it will be forever known as the week he came out and backed gay marriage. All it took was a parenthetical mention of the marriage debate at a fundraiser yesterday.
No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what you look like, no matter what your last name, no matter who you love.
And 2,000 supporters at a fundraiser in Seattle yesterday, they erupted in cheers. Meanwhile, the White House is doing their best to make sure that when history books are written on the gay marriage issue and debate, that they don't begin with because of Joe Biden. Biden apologized for jumping the gun. The White House leaked that the president had planned to potentially make his support for same-sex marriage clear next week on The View. He still is going to tape the show on Monday. Now, today, the president will try to return his focus to the economy with an event on mortgage refinancing in a state that's been hard hit on that, Reno, Nevada. And it's, of course, one of 6 battleground states where the Obama campaign is on the air trying to change the subject now to the auto bailout. By the way, in the next 48 hours, we're going to learn something more about how Romney will handle the gay marriage issue. He will be in North Carolina, which passed that constitutional ban on same-sex marriage this week, and he delivers the commencement at the socially conservative Liberty University tomorrow. This comment yesterday might come as a surprise, by the way, to some conservatives. File it under things Romney might not have said during the primary.
In my state, individuals of the same sex were able to adopt children. In my view, that's something which people have the right to do.
Interesting to see how that gay adoption will play with some social conservatives.